low, 2000, baby. Eden Palms, Monterey Road, I'm a project, baby. Eagles Drive, we was at Oak Grove, barely graduated. We got Tasha, Molly, Bodie, Corbett, they gon' have to hate us.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the New Media Podcast. I'm your host, Yeah. We hope you enjoyed the last episode because, as always, today is going to be an even better episode. I got the whole crew with me. Everybody's in the house today, and Week 17 is right around the corner. So, of course, it's only right that we talk about it. But before we jump into Week 17 of the NFL season, temperature check. How's everybody doing today?
Chilling, man. Feeling good.
New year, new blessings, man. Come on now.
That's facts, man. You already know what it is. But let's go ahead and we're gonna do things a little bit different in this episode. We're gonna skip through our Thursday night football matchup between the Cowboys and the Tennessee Titans. There's not much to talk about that in that game. We have the Cowboys winning that by landslides. Honestly, we're probably not even gonna be watching that game, so we're all gonna take the Cowboys. We'll go ahead and jump right into Sunday slate of games. And the first game we'll be talking about is the Arizona Cardinals on the road playing the Atlanta Falcons.
Another week for Trace McSorley, man. What else is there to say? I mean, backup quarterback. I went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady, which is a crazy statement to say in 2022. But I have the Falcons winning this game. I still don't trust the Cardinals as a team. I feel like the Falcons have just a little bit more on offense in terms of their weapons. Drake London's been involved as of recently. And then I like their running back that they got going. I just feel like they have a better offense than what the Cardinals have. So give me the Falcons in this game.
Yeah, like Andy said, going into, I think Colt McCoy is going to start this week for the Cardinals, so I'm not too sure.
Colt McCoy just got put back into concussion protocols.
Put him back. That's tragic. So Trace McSorley, it is again this week, and Arizona's sitting at 4-11, right?
Yeah.
I predicted them 5-12. I think I'm going to hit it. I ain't gonna lie. I think I'm gonna hit that 5-12. I was spot on. So I think Atlanta's gonna come in this week. We did see a little bit from Desmond Ridder last week. I feel like their run game has been fantastic for them, and they're out the playoffs, but they're still fine. It's a good young team that they have, and they try to build on Desmond Ridder. So we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna pick the Falcons.
I mean, the only way you could possibly have the Cardinals going 5-12 is either if they win this week or if they win next week against the Niners. So,
that's even better for me. Like, perfect.
Yeah, they're probably gonna go below that your 5-12 prediction, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Falcons in this spot. No DeAndre Hopkins this week, and then of course no Kyler Murray and no Colt McCoy. So Trace McSorley, he's gonna be out there with Hollywood Brown, and of course no Zach Ertz as well. The Cardinals are just a team that's very, very banged up. They're trying to just close out the season on a high note, or just trying to get to the off season as quickly as possible. And the Falcons, they're a young and up and coming team. They're just trying to get some wins here and there, and they might have an opportunity to win their division if they're able to win out and have a lot of luck go their way with the rest of the teams in their division. But go ahead and give me the Falcons in this one. I don't think this game will be interesting. So Falcons -6. I don't think they'll cover the spread. They probably win by like 3 points. But let's go ahead and move on to the next game. We have a divisional matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are at home in this one.
I'm gonna go with the Lions in this game just because I feel like because they realize that their playoff hopes are hanging and they need this win as badly as ever, considering the fact that Jared Goff and what happened with them against the Jets, and they know that they have to win. And I feel like, of course, we know how great that their offense can be, but I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Fields has a big day on the ground against these guys. Their defense is just terrible, but their offense can go toe-to-toe with anyone. So give me the Detroit Lions, and they're hoping on winning this game to get into the playoffs. Their hopes are hanging in this.
Yeah, correct you. I believe it was the Panthers last week that they
meant to
won. Should have won, but they put out a horrible performance defensively. But this week, man, I expect them to play better defensively. Bears' game plan is to run the ball. That's what they're going to do with Fields, their run game. And I hope Detroit, man, they fight this week. They're contending for a playoff spot. Last week would have been much better for them if they won. They would have been in that spot already. And all they had to do is just probably beat the Bears and secure another W against the Packers. But no, we're not going to see that happen. But I'm still going to pick the Lions. Just because of the offensive wise, I think they're much better offensively. So we'll take it there from there.
I have a weird feeling that the Bears might be able to win this game, but I'll be safe and take the Lions. I think this game is going to be a very, very high scoring game. Justin Fields, he kind of struggled in the second half of last week's game against the Buffalo Bills. I feel like that won't be the case here against the Detroit Lions. He's going to probably rush for over maybe 100 rushing yards, and maybe get a couple of touchdowns along the way. And hopefully his receiving core is a lot better this week. I think Chase Claypool wasn't able to go these last couple of weeks, so maybe if he's healthy, he'll be back for them, and hopefully he produces. But I'll take the Lions here simply because I just trust them a little bit more. Their defense sometimes they can make some key stops and on key drives, and their offense, of course, we've been talking about it all season how explosive they are. So I expect this game to be high scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears, edge this one out, but I'll go ahead and take the Lions. I don't think they'll cover this -6 spread either. I think they win by maybe 4 points or by a field goal. So, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. We have the Denver Broncos on the road playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So this will be the first game for the Broncos without their former head coach, Nathaniel Hackett.
Regardless if Nathaniel Hackett was there, he wasn't, does not make a difference. That little fluke 3 touchdowns that Russell Wilson had against these guys isn't going to happen again. Mahomes isn't going to do a Brett Favre impression at all. It's going to be a pretty straightforward game script. I mean, if the Rams were able to absolutely batter these guys, the Chiefs can smoke them. I'm curious what the spread is in this game.
Chiefs -12.5.
A divisional game though. Nah, I don't think they cover that, but I think they control the game for the most part. So I'm gonna have the Chiefs in this game.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs winning straight out, but I feel like, divisional game, like it's gonna be close. I feel like I don't think they're gonna hit the spread, but Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, they gotta win for this one. Big game Monday night, might decide, if they can get that #1 seed or not, but we'll see what happens. But go Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs in this one too. But I'm gonna have to respect the Broncos defense. That last week, what they put out against the Los Angeles Rams was probably like a once in a blue moon type of thing. We haven't really seen the Denver Broncos defense get shredded like that, and I don't think that'll be the case here. But the Chiefs will probably try to win in dominating fashion simply because of what happened in their last outing with this team. But I think the Chiefs will just being at home, they're gonna roll through this game and try to secure that '1 seed depending on the outcome of the Monday Night Football matchup. So give me the Chiefs in this one. Do I think they cover this spread? No, I don't think so. I respect the Broncos defense a little too much. But we'll go ahead and move on to another divisional game. We have the Miami Dolphins on the road playing the New England Patriots. The Dolphins will be without Tua, and I think the Dolphins are still on their 4-game losing streak.
And the Patriots, are they on a losing streak? Have they lost the last 2 games? I'm curious.
The Patriots have lost the last two
They
games.
should have won the last 2, but
Yeah, but the last 2, it was like,
tough for them,
that was tough. You had the little Jacoby Myers backward pass and then the Ramondre Stevenson goal line fumble. Well, I really want to, and I believe Teddy Bridgewater is going to start, right?
Teddy Bridgewater will be starting this week.
Do I really want to trust the Dolphins in this matchup against Bill Belichick, who's on a 2-game losing streak? Man, give me the Dolphins, and I just can't. I just like their weapons too much, man. I don't know. It's hard for me to trust Mac Jones, and I understand Teddy Bridgewater isn't some world beater as a quarterback, but I just feel like with the weapons that the Dolphins have, I can trust their offense a little bit more. I understand that Bill Belichick, he's a mastermind at taking away your best player, but it's tough to take away 2 speedy wide receivers. So I'm gonna go ahead and rock with the Dolphins in this game.
I'm gonna go. Give me a second. 1 second. Dolphins, where are they at? They played each other before early on in the season, right?
Yeah, the first game of the year.
If Tua's not playing, Tua's out. Bill Belichick.
Yeah, Tua's out.
I'm taking the Patriots. Even though Tua's trash, I just don't think Teddy Bridgewater is that guy. I really don't believe it. I feel like they're gonna put a lot of pressure on him, try to force him to throw a lot of balls. They're gonna blitz a lot, and I just expect the Patriots to come out and just hold them defensively. So go Patriots.
Man, this one's a tough one.
If Teddy Bridgewater gets hurt, man, I forgot the Sky. I forgot the last guy. I don't know who the 3rd string quarterback is. So I can't put my money on that.
I'm not gonna lie. If this game was being played in Miami, I'd probably take the Dolphins in this one. But I'll go ahead and rock with the New England Patriots in this one simply because, the Dolphins are familiar with Teddy Bridgewater, but I just feel like there's just no way the Patriots with what they've gone through the last couple of weeks at being at home lose to a team that's we thought the Miami Dolphins were desperate last week. They're even more desperate this week. I just don't see them going into New England and beating this Bill Belichick led team. So go ahead and give me the Patriots in this one. I think the game plan is simple. Of course, Belichick's always going to take away your best option. He's going to do his best to limit Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but Max Jones has to be better. Ramondre Stevenson, he has to be better as well. Can't be fumbling like that in crunch time. And I trust this Patriots defense. So Vegas got them -2.5, so they're still on the edge on who's going to win, but they're a little more confident on the Patriots. And I'll go ahead and take the Patriots to win this game as well. They'll cover this -2.5 spread. They'll win by a field goal. And the Dolphins will be after this week on a 5-game losing streak, and they might just end up missing the playoffs. But this is a very, very big game for playoff implications, and I'm looking forward to watching it. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game, which nobody will be watching. The Indianapolis Colts on the road playing the New York Giants.
Give me the New York Giants in this game, even though I am hoping the Colts somehow pull this out. But I'm gonna go with the Giants in this game. I like how Daniel Jones played last week against the Vikings. I feel like every week he's been confident in throwing the ball, even to guys who shouldn't really be starting. But he had there's a couple key drops in the last game, and I feel like Daniel Jones has just been playing turnover free, just playing exactly how the head coach wants him to play. And then of course Saquon's always a threat, and the defense is overall solid as a unit. So give me the Giants this game. I don't really have much hope for the Colts. Just an absolute terrible year for them.
Yeah, I'm there with you, Abdi. I'm gonna take the Giants. Daniel Jones, the last couple of weeks, he's been playing good, and like you mentioned, a couple of drops from Richie James Jr. last week. Could have changed the game. Could have made it a different way. But going against the Colts, man, I'm trusting Daniel Jones. I'm trusting Saquon, and I'm gonna ride with that defense. I feel like just get Saquon the ball and let Daniel Jones do his thing in the pocket, not do too much, but just game manage the game, and hopefully he gets a touchdown running. But like I just said, man, I'm going to pick the Giants, but I hope they lose. So, go Giants.
There's absolutely no way this Giants team lose to the Colts led by Nick Foles, especially with what he put out there against the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday night, man. Go ahead and give me the Giants in this one. I think they cover the spread. Giants coming off a very, very tough loss to my Minnesota Vikings, but they played good enough to win that game. So I got to give them their respect there. I think they'll be better offensively. They'll be better defensively. The Colts aren't necessarily a good team. They're a terrible team. And the Giants know that every game counts now, these last 2 weeks left in the season. And with this win, it'll push them to 9-6-1, and maybe it might just secure them a wild card spot. And they'll be playing extra football in January. So go ahead and give me the New York Giants in this one. We'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The New Orleans Saints are on the road playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts has been officially ruled out for this one. Gardner Minshew will be under center for this.
I'm still gonna rock with the Eagles in this game, especially how Minshew performed in the absence of Jalen Hurts against the Cowboys' elite defense. I feel like he did an overall good job. Of course, it's a downgrade from Jalen Hurts, but still, even with those weapons in the offensive line in that running game, they're still a threat. And he's a decent enough backup for them to get the job done. So I'm gonna rock with the Eagles and their elite outside weapons.
I'm going with the Eagles as well. Their two receivers last week without Jalen Hurts, they both had above 100 yards. They both cooked up. So I don't think the Eagles' offense really lost a step in their game at all. They put up 34 points against the Cowboys, and they had about 4 turnovers. So yeah, this week I got them winning. It doesn't matter who they face, even with Gardner Minshew as quarterback. They're going to trust the run game and they're going to trust the defense. So go Eagles.
This is a very, very big game for the Eagles, simply because if they lose this game, it's the Cowboys are right behind them for the division, and they also have the opportunity of losing. If they lose next week, they could lose that number one seed overall to us or any other team that's right behind them. So, but go ahead and give me the Eagles in this one. In this game. I'm just hoping the Saints find a way to win this, but I just don't know if they have the offensive firepower to keep up with this Eagles team or the defense. Their defense has always been respectable, but if the offense can't generate and extend drives, that means the defense is going to be out on the field for much longer than expected. And the Eagles they're going to take advantage of that. And Gardner Minshew, he played pretty well last week, I would say. He can clean up a few things, and I think this is a very good opportunity for him to do so. So go ahead and give me the Eagles in this one. I think they do cover this -5 spread. They probably win by like a touchdown, maybe even 10 points. We'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The Carolina Panthers on the road playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my god. This is very interesting, man. I'm gonna go with the Carolina Panthers in this game, man. I like what they got going on with their offensive line and that running game, that two-headed monster in Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman. I like how their running game is set up, and I like what I see from their defense, their young players. I do believe J.C. Horn is out though with an injury. His season ended. I believe he broke his wrist or something.
Broken
Yeah,
wrist.
surgery on it.
Yeah. So, it sucks to see that happen, but I still got them winning this game. I just feel like they've been performing better as of recently, and I like what I see in terms of their consistency compared to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So, give me the Panthers in this game.
Man, this is a tough one. Like, if we started this off in the beginning of the season and we're like, oh yeah, Tampa, easy. Not the case, man. Not the case, man. Last time, Tom Brady lost to PJ Walker, Now Sam Darnold's in town. I think Sam Darnold is going to win. So I got the Panthers winning just off the run game. Last time they played each other, Carolina, I think, had 183 rush yards and like 2 touchdowns. And I expect them to, keep on going. These last 4 weeks, they've been just running the ball, pounding the ball. And they've been playing phenomenal. So I got the Panthers winning. I really believe it's going to be a close one, Tom Brady's, fighting for a playoff spot. So I don't expect him to go out with a fight, but I just can't trust that Tampa Bay defense.
Yeah, this game has the potential to be a very, very interesting matchup, but I'm not going to go ahead and sit here and pick the Carolina Panthers led by Sam Darnold. I'm going to go ahead and take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one. Like I did last week. How are they going to win this game? Honestly, I still don't know. Leonard Fournette was the man last week. Mike Evans didn't show up, and Chris Godwin was just all right, but I think the Buccaneers know what's at stake in this game. Their playoff hopes are on the line. They know if the Carolina Panthers win this game, they jump into the number 1 seed in their division, and at the end of the day, anything can happen in Week 18. I know the Buccaneers don't want that, so go ahead and give me the Bucs in this one. Do I believe they'll cover this -4 spread? I don't think so. The Buccaneers have been close affairs throughout the entire season, so I'm not going to sit here and say they're just going to blow out or beat the Panthers by more than 4 points. No, I won't do that, but they'll win this game. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The Cleveland Browns are on the road playing the Washington Commanders, led by Carson Wentz this week.
Oh my god. Do I really trust Carson Wentz? I don't know, man. Deshaun Watson looks still kind of looks rusty. I don't know, man. This team, I'm gonna have to go with the Commanders in this game, man. As much as like I really, really need the Commanders to lose, I just feel like it's a tough one for me. But I feel like I like the Commanders' defense a bit more, and I like what I see from them. And I mean, I'm not the biggest Carson Wentz fan. But he does look better than a rusty Deshaun Watson. I just can't go with Deshaun Watson in this type of matchup. I just don't trust him. And then of course Brian Robinson, sorry. He's been playing great as well as of recently. The NPC that they called in the beginning of the season, but he's been playing great as of recently. So I'm gonna rock with him. I just feel like this team it's so tough for me. I want to go with the Browns because me and Big H, we hate Carson Wentz, man. We don't like Carson Wentz.
Hey, my pick is already coming up. Like, I already know who I'm picking,
but I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
Bro.
I got the Commanders in this game.
Yeah, I'm going Browns, bro. Just because I'd be just really said right here. Carson Wentz is playing better than Deshaun Watson.
He's better than what rusty Deshaun Watson can give you.
Bro, the guy started off 1-5 and he got benched.
I mean, yeah, but like Deshaun Watson, it's like
Deshaun Watson got 2 W's.
He looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now.
He got 2 W's though.
Of course, I mean, one game I believe the defense got the job done. The other game was a running game. Like, it's cool.
Hey man, just give Deshaun Watson some time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're rushing him. Try to put him in that bottom tier category off of 4 games. But Carson Wentz, that motherfucker, he lived down in the bottom tier category. Like, ain't nothing else worse than him. Like him down there. I feel sorry for the Commanders. But go Browns, Commanders. I don't expect y'all to make playoffs with Carson Wentz as a quarterback. So let's go.
I can't believe the Washington Commanders decided to go with Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback this week, knowing that their playoff chances are legit on the line with this game and the next week's game. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take the Cleveland Browns in this one. But I still hope somehow, some way, the Commanders win this game, simply because I don't want Green Bay to make the playoffs. But
Wait,
think,
wait. Why are you hoping on that? Like, if you're confident in your team, beat us. Simple as that.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. But for this specific game, I think the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson will be a lot better. Nick Chubb will be a lot better, and I think that's their defense will hold up just enough. And Carson Wentz, he's known to be gifting a lot of interceptions and turnovers to the opposing team. So I feel like that'll be the case here. And do I see him getting benched in this game potentially for Taylor Heineke in third or fourth quarter? Not necessarily. I think Ron Rivera is just going to stick with the guy he announced is going to be the starter early on in the week and just ride with him to the end. So go ahead and give me the Browns in this one. The spread is Commanders -2, and so Vegas as well. They're on the fence with this game, but they're more confident in the Commanders to pull it out. And I'm not trusting Carson Wentz, so go ahead and give me the Browns. But let's go ahead and talk about. We'll get to them in a little bit. But our last 10 o'clock game, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the road playing the Houston Texans.
Man, oh man, give me Trevor Lawrence in this game. I mean, to be honest, I don't think they're as focused in this matchup as they are in the next one, because I believe week 18 they play the Titans. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they play the Titans. They're more thinking about that matchup, but of course, a divisional game, it still matters to them. And like we've been saying, like I think since like week 9, Trevor Lawrence has been on an absolute tear, just killing teams. The guy's been phenomenal. This second half of this season, he's exactly what we thought he's supposed to be. Compared to that first half, like this is the Trevor Lawrence that we were expecting, and this week I don't expect anything less from him. I expect him to win this game. The Texans would give him a fight. I don't know what they've been on recently, but they've been giving teams a tough time. But I'm still rock with the Jaguars in this game.
You mentioned the Texans?
Yeah.
If it was Alabama versus Texans, I think I'll take Bama versus them. But
Nah, bro, the Texans no joke, man. These guys gave the Chiefs, they gave the Cowboys a tough fight. You never know with a team like this.
Man, they do fight though. The last couple games, but I felt like these guys have just been hitting people, man. Against the Chiefs, like I seen Juju get flipped like 6 times, but go Jags, man. Let's go. I got T-Law. I feel like, it's time for him to get into that playoffs, right? Time for him to break into that category as like a top 7 quarterback, man. The guy been hooping the last 8 weeks. I feel like it's been 13 touchdowns and 1 interception. I feel like since either week 8 or week 9. I'm not too sure. But he's been hooping. This team's been hooping. And I really do need Etienne to step it up this week for my fantasy championship. I need him to hoop like he was hooping mid-year. But go Jags, man. Go Jags. Big week next week against the Titans, but Titans, they got me at quarterback, so ain't that much.
To be quite honest with you guys, I think this week's a much bigger matchup in comparison to next week, simply because if the Jaguars look too far ahead and think about the Titans, they had the matchup versus the Titans next week. The Texans have been playing great these last couple of weeks, man. The Texans are capable enough to come into this game and being at home, and they're good enough to win this game. If you guys remember, they did win their first matchup between these two teams on the road in Jacksonville, where Trevor Lawrence played like dog shit. But of course, since week 9, Trevor Lawrence has looked like a different version of himself. And I feel like if the Jaguars win this game, they've pretty much locked up the division, and they're going to be cruising into next week playing the Tennessee Titans. And of course, we can sit here and say that the Tennessee Titans defense they're going to probably do their best, but at the end of the day, it comes down to both offenses. But for this game, I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. They know what's at stake. A playoff chance, a playoff berth within the next 2 weeks. And the Texans, man, they'll probably put up a little bit of a fight, and this game has the potential to be fireworks. A high scoring game between both teams, but the Jaguars, they've been rolling for quite some time now, and I don't think it'll stop here. They'll win this game, and they'll win next week, and they'll secure themselves the number 1 seed in their division. So we're rocking with the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. But let's go ahead and move on to America's game of the week. I believe the Minnesota Vikings are on the road playing the Green Bay Packers. The Packers do open up as -3 favorites to win this game.
Was there any doubt that I would rock with my own team in this matchup? In other previous matchups, I've picked Green Bay, but I'm confident as ever in this specific matchup. At Lambeau Field, with our playoff hopes on the line, I'm trusting Aaron Rodgers. I'm putting my hope in Aaron Rodgers. I think we end up pulling this game. I think Aaron Rodgers has one of his better games of the season against a poor Vikings defense. I think the entire unit shows up as an offense, and I do know that Christian Watson is probably going to end up being a game time call, but it doesn't matter. I believe Aaron Rodgers is going to get the job done. So give me the Packers in this game.
Whatever he said, just skate by. I'm gonna pick the guy that's wearing the Minnesota Vikings beanie. You guys got cooked week 1, and you really haven't adjusted to anything this year. Last couple weeks, yeah, you got some W's, but I just feel like an offensive talent like that, what Minnesota has, I feel like it's a little too much. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings. Although Vikings do have defensive problems, I don't know if Rodgers is gonna find them out, pick him out. We'll see what happens. And Jair though, man, Jair coming out talking about how JJ had a fluke game. The first game.
Facts.
Nah. You can't be doing that. You gotta
That's
respect what
facts.
he's doing in the season.
He respected. He said he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. He has him as his top 3 wide receiver.
So
But
his
he
first
said,
game. So no, the first game against you guys was a fluke.
yeah, it's facts.
How
It's
was
a
it a fluke?
bro.
How was it a
But
fluke?
the guys like Devondre Campbell and Adrian Amos or Darnell Savage, one of those guys were on him for a majority of the time. He had
It was
weak
Adrian
matchups,
Amos.
right?
Yes, it was Adrian Amos. But like I said though, man, the way he plays, the way Kevin McConnell offense goes, you're gonna see him in the slot. You're gonna see him a lot in the slot against a lot
If
of.
Joe Barry has any shame, like he literally adjusts to JJ this week. He has any bit of shame, just a
You gotta
little bit.
realize, man, that
If he
offense
has
is
a
on
little bit of
point,
shame,
man. You gotta
no,
worry about Hawkinson. You gotta worry about Cook, KJ Osborne.
we'll get the job done, man.
We'll see though. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go, man. Talk in peace.
Nah, man, it's just ridiculous how the Packers have opened up as the favorites in this game. I know the weather's gonna be 30 degrees and stuff like that, but still not enough for Vegas to go ahead and list the Packers as the favorites in this one. But of course, I'm going with my Minnesota Vikings in this one. I thought the Miami Dolphins were a good enough team to end their playoff hopes at home. But of course, leave it to us. The guys who won the North this year and are running the North for the next couple of years, sitting at 12-3, to send the Green Bay Packers packing all the way back to it's a home game, so they're Aaron Rodgers, he'll be able to wake up in his own bed and come to the arena. Whatever vehicle he comes in with to the arena with, he's gonna be going right back out with the same vehicle. So the Packers, I mean, what we did week 1 against them, we're gonna do the exact same thing at a way higher level. We added a guy like TJ Hawkinson, of course, who went bonkers against the Giants last week, 2 touchdowns. And I mean, I don't believe the Packers defense has gone any better compared to week 1 till now. And for Jair Alexander to come out and say week 1 was a fluke, it only lit a fire under JJ's ass, because JJ has averaged, his numbers against Green Bay are 28 catches, 463 yards, 4 touchdowns in 5 career games. And one of those games, he didn't play much in his rookie year. And then last year, I believe during the COVID year, Kirk Cousins got COVID in that last matchup against Green Bay, so he didn't necessarily have his quarterback. But we all know what he did against the Packers defense, whether or not Jair was on him in week 1. But there's just no stopping this guy, and I'm looking forward to that matchup. But I already know who's going to win that matchup. Justin Jefferson, he knows what's on the line in this week's matchup and in next week's matchup. He knows he's trying to go for 2,000 yards, and I feel like this week he's probably going to snap for maybe 160 yards, and he'll finish with maybe 10 or 11 catches, and he might just find the end zone. But the game plan for us is pretty simple. Our defense needs to show up. First things first. Zadarius Smith, he knows this is a big game for him as well, playing against his former team. Exactly what he did in week 1 against them, where he harassed Aaron Rodgers. He needs to have that same performance again on the road in 30-degree weather in Lambeau Field. So a place that he's very, very familiar with. Danielle Hunter needs to show up. We can't be playing soft coverage defense against Aaron Rodgers in this game. We need to pretty much harass him in the pocket, make him try to, make some plays outside of the pocket. And to go back to our offense, I don't have any issues with our offense. The game plan is simple there. Dalvin Cook will, he's going to be involved in the game with his 18 to 22 touches. But Justin Jefferson is going to be the highlight of our offense. The guy who's going to get he's our engine. We go as far as he goes, and Kirk Cousins has been playing great all year. And I don't think that'll stop against the Green Bay Packers, knowing that their playoff hopes are on the line, and we had the opportunity to break their hearts. So go ahead and give me my Minnesota Vikings. As a betting man, I would definitely take the Vikings money line. I wouldn't even take the +3 spread. Go ahead and give me the money line in this game. The more money to be made, and the Green Bay Packers, pretty much their playoff hopes will be over after this weekend. Enjoy the offseason. Aaron Rodgers he can go to Cabo. He can go anywhere he wants. The Pat McAfee show. whatever he wants to do, he'll be able to do it in 2 weeks' time. But go ahead and give me my Vikings in this one. This will be America's game of the week, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. But now that I've done all that talking, we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. The San Francisco 49ers are on the road playing the Las Vegas Raiders. If this game was being played 3 or 4 years ago, this game would be pretty big in the Bay Area, but I don't think it's that big anymore, simply because the Raiders have moved out. But and Derek Carr did get benched for this week's matchup.
Crazy what's been going on with Derek Carr and the Raiders. I think I saw on Twitter somewhere that he unfollowed the Raiders on Instagram and Twitter. So like it's looking like it's a guarantee that he's probably going to be gone. I mean, I wasn't ever the biggest Derek Carr fan, but it's kind of crazy to see how the Raiders are dealing with him, especially considering when Josh McDaniels, to me, is a bigger issue in that place. But of course, I don't know what that leaves left for Davante Adams, whether he ends up staying, but we'll have to see. But give me the Niners in this game, the red hot team, the team that's being led by quarterback Brock Purdy. I mean, this team, Nick Bosa is looking like an absolute animal, and I won't expect anything less in this game. These guys just been on fire, so of course, give me the Niners.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the Niners. Obviously, it's not even close. Why? But to speak about the Derek Carr situation, I'm pretty happy that he got benched. I'm pretty happy they're probably gonna trade him away this offseason. For 9 years, this guy been a shit quarterback, probably regardless of other than 2 years, in his career. But the plan with the Raiders, it wasn't working whatsoever. You can't have a quarterback come in with those type of offensive targets, throw for 160 yards and 3 interceptions and lose the game like that. So, I'm happy they're getting rid of him. They're moving on. New slate for the Raiders, but Niners, they're going to control this game, dominate, and it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Niners in this one. There's not much I can say about this game, but of course the Derek Carr situation is a lot more bigger than this game. It's for me, the benching is okay. The Raiders season is pretty much over, and if you want to go ahead and move in a different direction, the franchise has that. They can do so as they please, but for Derek Carr to not even be, the second quarterback, to the starting quarterback, I feel like is a bit disrespectful. He's going to be in street clothes for this game on the Zach Wilson type beat, and I think that's very, very disrespectful for a guy that's put his life on the line for your franchise for 8-9 years. And yeah, if you want to move on to in a different direction next year, you go ahead and do that, but you don't necessarily do that to a guy that's giving it his all for this franchise. What have the Raiders necessarily done for Derek Carr? Outside of this year, bringing in a guy like Davante Adams, or helping out the defense in all those years he was there. But we can talk about Derek Carr all we want and how bad he is for the Raiders, but at the same time, the Raiders as a franchise, they haven't done enough for Derek Carr, or they haven't put him in positions to be successful. And in that 1 year where they were playing well, he just broke his foot a couple weeks before the playoffs against the Indianapolis Colts, and they were rolling that year. But it's for Derek Carr. Yeah, he's gonna move on and go to a different team. I think his next home will probably be the Indianapolis Colts or some other franchise, maybe even the New York Jets. But for the Raiders, what does this mean for their future? You just traded for a guy like Davante Adams and you paid him big money, and if you don't necessarily have a quarterback there, what is that? What is your offense going to look like next year? Are you going to try to draft one in this year's draft, or are you going to try to trade for one, or maybe sign a guy in free agency? I just don't understand it. If you're going to move on from Derek Carr, of course, I think you should have a very, very good plan B. I don't think the Raiders have that right now. And, maybe Davante Adams might be on the move this offseason as well. His time
I think he actually goes. I think he leaves.
I mean, because I know we all saw that Instagram post that he wrote for Derek Carr saying,
He was heated.
Yeah, he was very, very pissed. He said it. He was pretty honest. In that post, he said the only reason why I'm a Raider is simply because of Derek Carr, and a good friend of mine. And if he's not there, I don't think Davante Adams is going to be a Raider for much longer. So, but to go back to this game, go ahead and give me the Niners in this one. I was hoping Derek Carr would play this game simply because I need the Niners to lose somehow in these next couple of weeks to secure that number 2 seed. But with Jerry Stidham playing, or whatever his first name is, I just don't see that. So go ahead and give me the Niners in this one. But we'll move on to a more interesting matchup. The New York Jets are on the road playing the Seattle Seahawks. Both teams are 7-8, and I believe they are on the outside looking in for a wild card spot.
Who's the starting quarterback for the Jets this week? Is it Mike White?
think
It
it's
is. I think it's Mike White this week.
he should be back, right?
Mike White, yeah, Mike White is a starter for this week.
Yeah, give me the Jets in this game, man. That defense, I like how Mike White has been playing. I like Garrett Wilson. I just feel like the Seahawks have just been on a downward spiral. They've just been going down and down every single week. And I like what the Jets have to offer defensively, and I like that their offensive play from their quarterback and Mike White. I feel like he's just been an upgrade from what Zach Wilson has offered them, and of course the wideouts on the outside for this team, and that they have a solid running game as well. So give me the Jets in this game, man. I mean, the Seahawks have just been going
Solid
down and
run
down.
game Jets have.
What are you talking about?
What run game? They haven't been cooking the run game the last couple of weeks, but
I mean, they had
yards.
they had James Robinson for a bit,
Hey,
Wait, hold up. What happened? What happened to your
Only for the
supposed
Packers.
good?
I
What
wish
happened to
the
your
Packers
wait, hold
could-
up. What happened to your supposed nice passing game? What happened to that?
Tyler Lockett went down with an injury.
Yeah.
For a couple of weeks.
The Geno Smith insanity run ended.
I
It's cute and all.
Geno Smith been playing better than Rodgers this year.
Yeah, it's a
Come on.
insanity run. It was cute and all, but
Come on.
like it's back to reality.
I wish we played the Packers this year, bro. Like,
You wish, yeah. What happened to
Come
your
on.
bye weeks, man? I bet you wish you would have taken those back.
like I said, Seattle this week, baby. We're gonna have the Commanders lose.
Wait, don't we have the same record anyways?
Yeah, but we
Exactly.
we hold the tiebreaker though.
Yeah, conference wins,
why?
right?
Nah,
Conference
we,
wins, I
We,
believe.
we beat the Lions. Y'all lost to the Lions.
Like conference wins, basically.
Yeah, but like I said, Commanders, Giants, and Detroit. They all got to lose, and Packers, of course. But let's go Seahawks, man. I just don't think the Jets. That team is in it anymore. It's like their fourth quarterback. They're going back and forth. 1 week it was Mike White. Next week Zach Wilson started. He got hurt. Joe Flacco came in. He got benched. I don't want to butcher this guy's last name, but I'm gonna call him, Baby Tebow. He came in. He looked nice. I ain't gonna lie, but it wasn't enough last week for them. But let's go Seahawks.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick the New York Jets in this game. I just feel like how the Commanders turned up for Taylor Heineke, or how they did so in the middle of the season where they reeled off those wins with him at quarterback. I just feel like the Jets, man, they are a different team with Mike White leading the way in comparison to Zach Wilson. That roster does not like that guy. They do not like Zach Wilson at all, and they know that his time in New York is up. And Mike White he's the best guy. He's the guy that puts him in the best opportunity to make the playoffs. And I feel like with this matchup, going up against the Seattle defense, like Zonovan Knight might just have himself a day. That's the starting running back for the New York Jets right now. So I feel like with their passing attack, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin, and their Uzama or whatever, the former tight end from the Bengals. I feel like the Jets defense, they'll do their job, and Mike White will do his job to lead this offense to victory. The Seattle Seahawks, I've talked about them, and I've talked about them harshly these last 4 weeks, and I've had every right to do so, and I'll talk more about them at the end of the season. But Big H, as a Seattle Seahawks fan, please just don't lose this game and don't miss out on the playoffs. Do not miss out on the playoffs. Finishing with a record of maybe 7-10 or 8-9. Don't do that. Just don't do that. These last couple of weeks, hopefully you guys turn up, and hopefully other teams fall out of the race, and you guys somehow, some way sneak into a playoff spot. Because I will speak my piece about that franchise. But for this game, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the New York Jets. They're a different team led by Mike White, and I feel like they'll do enough to win this game. Tyler Lockett might be back for this game, but I don't see anything changing for the Seattle Seahawks for these next couple of weeks. And this game has the potential to be a very, very defensive battle. We're gonna see Tariq Woolen on one side, and we're gonna see Sauce Gardner on the other. So that's something to point out as well. But I'm looking forward to a very, very interesting matchup between those two teams that are fighting for a playoff spot. But now we'll go ahead and move on to the next game, a game that's not interesting at all. The Los Angeles Rams are on the road playing the Los Angeles Chargers, the battle of the two LA teams.
Give me the Chargers in this game, man. The Baker Mayfield gimmick has to end at some point, and I feel like this might be the game where it ends. We're gonna see levels between these two quarterbacks and Justin Herbert and Baker Mayfield. So, of course, I'm gonna rock with Justin Herbert. I feel like he's been playing great as of recently. The whole team starting to get back their juice, especially when they were banged up earlier part of the season, and now they're just getting healthy and getting back into rhythm, preparing for the playoffs and whatnot. So give me Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Rams last week, fluke game. I'm gonna pick the Chargers this week. The only thing I really want to see is just, Herbert. The same thing I've been saying the last 5 weeks, man. 40 passing attempts. He didn't have a touchdown last week, if I'm correct, right? He had two
No
interceptions,
touchdown.
right?
He did have 2 interceptions.
Yeah. Like, if you look at these last 6 to 7 weeks, it's been 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, or 0 touchdowns, an interception, or 0 touchdowns, a fumble. I want to see him get on board, man. Like, he got to put some points on board himself, get some touchdowns under his bag. Because when playoff comes, man, teams are gonna play tighter defensive schemes. They're gonna be blitzing. They're gonna force you to make tougher throws. So yeah, all I want to see is him to get on board, score a couple touchdowns. Other than that, man, the Chargers team, they're getting pretty sure they activated Joey Bosa off IR this week.
I believe they did. I did hear about that.
The defense the last couple weeks, man, they've been clamping up. So this is what the Chargers defense, this is what they expected for them to perform better. Derwin James is not suspended this game, if I'm correct too. And nothing happened with that hit last week, right?
Yeah, he's not suspended, but I think he's out for this week's game.
He had a concussion too as well with that hit. So I mean, if he even with him out, I'm still picking the Chargers. So go Chargers.
Yeah. Last week Justin Herbert had 2 turnovers. It was 1 interception and 1 fumble. But to go back to this game, they're gonna win this game. The Los Angeles Chargers have already clinched a playoff spot, so they're pretty much that they know they're gonna be playing extra football in January, but they know that they need to go into the playoffs healthy. And I feel like this team can be a very, very dangerous team. I feel like they've going into the playoffs simply because they're starting to all put it all. They're starting to put it all together now. They're starting to get more healthy. Derwin James, he'll be back for the playoffs, and Bosa's now officially back. But they'll be good enough to win this game. I think that they'll probably just cruise through this game. I don't think this game will be high scoring at all. And the Rams, Baker Mayfield, he had a nice game last week and a couple weeks before, but they're not playing for anything at this point. They're gonna, they'll fight, but the Chargers are just a better team, and they're gonna win this game outright. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. Our Sunday night football matchup. We have a divisional matchup in this game. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road playing the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens will be without Lamar Jackson in this matchup, but they've already locked up a playoff spot.
Giving me the Steelers, man. I don't know. The Steelers, these guys, when they play Baltimore, it's actually hilarious. Like, they play like their life depends on it. Like, I know this entire division, when they play each other, it's a war, but something about the Steelers, when they play other divisional teams, like, something goes on with this team, man. These guys are just a different level defensively. I'm gonna rock with them in this game. Of course, like, I feel like Baltimore's offense can only hold on for so long, and their defense can only do so much that they end up start losing. So I'm gonna have them losing this game. I just feel like offensively they're not gonna get much going on, and I feel like I have seen some flashes from Kenny Pickett as it recently, and Najee Harris is still there, and of course that defense still has elite pieces in T.J. Watt. So give me the Steelers in this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens. I feel like just off that defense that the Ravens have, J.K. Dobbins in the run game, I feel like they can, continue on and keep on winning. Did they beat the Steelers last time they played a couple of weeks ago with Huntley?
The Ravens did win that game.
I'm going with the Ravens again. I feel like J.K. Dobbins had 15 carries that game, 128 yards. I feel like they're gonna up the carries, man. They're just gonna run the ball most of the time. And Ravens defense, they've been holding this team down ever since Lamar went out. So I expect them to do the same. And on the Steelers side, I'd be said it. Somehow, some way, these guys always grind out W's. They end up winning. These last couple of weeks, they've been winning. They're sitting at 7-8, if I'm sure, and they still have a playoff chance. So never rule them out. But I got the Ravens winning this week.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a game I'm not going to watch. But I just can't see the Ravens sweeping the Steelers this season. I just feel like the Steelers, they're always known to get one game off on the Ravens, and I feel like this is a very, very prime position to do so. The Ravens won the last matchup in Pittsburgh, and I think the Steelers are going to win this game in Baltimore. I don't like the Ravens offense. I don't like this Ravens football team in general. I don't think they have anything going for them on offense. The only reason why they won that last time was J.K. Dobbins rushed for over 120 yards and a couple touchdowns. I don't think that'll happen in this matchup between the two teams. They'll probably game plan for him and try to force Huntley to win you this game. This Lamar Jackson news is kind of interesting for me, to be honest. For him to be out this long, it's a little bit concerning. But at the same time, now that they have clinched the playoff spot, I think they're probably just being more precautious, keeping him out just so he can be fully healthy come postseason. But go ahead and give me the Steelers in this one. I think the Steelers defense will be good enough to win. Good enough for them to win this game. And Kenny Pickett, man, he didn't look too bad against the Raiders last week on that game-winning drive where he marched down the field and found George Pickens for that touchdown in the end zone. But go ahead and give me the Steelers. But that wraps up our Sunday slated games. We're gonna go ahead and move on.
This one's gonna be the interesting one. This is really
the game of the week. Might even be the game of the year. We have on Monday night, we have the Buffalo Bills on the road playing the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bills sit at the 1 seed, and the Bengals have an opportunity to sneak up on them, sitting here at the 3rd seed, to take that 1 seed from them. This game will be played in Cincinnati, by the way.
Woo, what a matchup. 2 elite quarterbacks.
I needed this Monday night game, man. I felt like the last couple Monday night games just been some ass. Like, nasty.
We needed this one. With an elite wide receiver battle in Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs. I'm gonna rock with the Bengals in this game, man. Give me Joe Burrow, man. The way this guy has been playing, especially the second half of the season, an arguable MVP candidate. This guy's just been dominant, playing absolutely phenomenal. I think was it last week where he kind of struggled in the second half against the Patriots. Correct me if I'm wrong. But overall, I feel like he has been playing great in the second half of this season. And I just like his consistency, man. With Josh Allen, he doesn't want to give up that number 1 seed, but Joe Burrow knows that he needs that number 1 seed as well. So Josh Allen isn't trying to go through Arrowhead. He needs to lock up that number 1 seed. Joe Burrow realizes he needs that number 1 seed. So this is a battle for whoever gets that top spot. But I just like the offensive weapons that he has outside of just Jamar Chase. He has T. Higgins there as well. And this Bills offense, sometimes they can be kind of slow, and their defense does get the job done. But against his offense, I don't know how they'll fare. So give me Joe Burrow.
I'm gonna go with Burrows as well. I've been a big fan of my guy, but this time I feel like the game's gonna be extremely close. Both Bengals are what, a game behind the Bills, or they're sitting at 10-5, game behind the Bills. They can fight for that first seed as well. So Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, hopefully Joe Mixon gets involved, and can't forget about T. Higgins. The guy been playing like a number 1 receiver these last 8 to 10 weeks, and he's been hooping. And on the other side of the ball, it's gonna be tough. Josh Allen's coming for smoke. He's top 3, top 4 MVP candidate. He's a hooper, but I just feel like there's gonna be mistakes this week from his game. So I got the Bengals winning.
The Bengals are sitting at 11-4. They're sitting in 3rd in the AFC. So pretty much they need to win this game and hope that the Chiefs somehow lose their matchup against the Denver Broncos this week to secure that 1 spot. But they can snatch up that number 2 seed with this win, and I think that's what they'll do. This is a very, very tough game for the Buffalo Bills. I just feel like the offensive firepower that the Cincinnati Bengals have is just a little too much for this Bills defense, and especially for them to lose Von Miller early on in December. Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of time in the pocket. But then again, I just remembered right now that the Bengals did lose their starting offensive lineman, La'el Collins, the guy they signed in the offseason, for the rest of the season. But I don't think that'll be a big of a deal for Joe Burrow in this specific game. I think he'll play better than he did last week. He started off hot last week against the Patriots, and he played well. But then in the second half, he kind of started to cool off with the turnovers and stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals in this one. The Buffalo Bills, they need to put up a fight, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up winning this game. But I just trust the Bengals a lot more in this spot, especially for them to be at home in this game. If the Buffalo Bills were at home in this game, I would definitely take Buffalo. But I like the Bengals here in this spot. I like them at home, and for this game to be on Monday night, man, we finally got gifted a nice Monday night football game. I hope we aren't jinxing it right now. And interesting though, the Bills are the favorites in this one, -1 though. So Vegas is definitely on the edge in this one, and they just pretty much had to pick a side in this one, and they took the Buffalo Bills side. But I'm looking forward to this matchup. This game could go a lot of ways. High-powered offenses or just a very, very defensive outing between both teams. But go ahead and give me the Bengals in this one. They'll move on to 12-4. The Bills drop in a very, very important game towards the end of the season, and they might just end up losing that number 1 seed to the Kansas City Chiefs. So. But go ahead and give me the Bengals in this one. But that pretty much wraps up week 17 of the NFL season. We're looking forward to another great week of football with all these playoff implications on the line. But With that being said, any final words, fellas, before we sign off here?
Do
Great
not
week.
be surprised if Aaron Rodgers gets the job done this week. Do not be
Great-
surprised. That's
Don't
all I'm saying.
listen to whatever this guy says on the bottom. A great week of football.
Yeah,
You're gonna. Well, it's gonna be hilarious if we both lose.
Like a lot.
I can't wait to come back here on Monday to talk about my Minnesota Vikings ending the Green Bay Packers season. We started our season playing Green Bay and we won that game, and now we're going to end their season by beating them. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to another week of football. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and close things out here. Thank you so much for tuning in into today's episode. We really appreciate your love and support. We'd really appreciate it if you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at New Media Podcast. For those of you that are watching us on YouTube, all of our social media handles will be in the beginning of this video. And if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, if you go to our Instagram page at New Media Podcast, you'll be able to navigate yourself to all of our social media handles there. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in into today's episode, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lakes, now that's overkill.